Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Racecourse, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America as we kick off another week on a Wednesday morning at Saratoga. And as mentioned earlier, a gorgeous Wednesday morning up here. Really is. I mean, temperature, sun, horses are, galloping, skipping around, enjoying things. There's been a lot of activity. I said when I drove in this morning, I had to wait for probably 20 horses to cross the street over by the harness track. It's a gorgeous morning. That will be a gorgeous afternoon. Happy to be back in town after a little battery recharger on the beach up in Maine the last couple of days, but we're back in now probably for the duration. I may head back up there in September briefly, but I think I'm in now. But I got my fill of clams and lobster rolls and whatnot, so that all worked out. We're looking forward to a nice Wednesday here at the track. Also, right here, we'll be joined in a little bit by Tom Law from the Saratoga Special, the regular visit from the Saratoga Special crew. We'll get a look at some of the action today, a little preview and review, as it were. Laura Simele will join us as well. She does the breakfast commentary over on the front side. I think it's Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I'll check with her to be sure. But I knew she was off today, and so we'll talk a little bit about breakfast at the track, as there is still plenty of time. If you're not familiar, that's a fun part of the day up here, fun part of the season. So maybe you can make some plans for breakfast, and also the breeding farm tours, which I know are very popular as well. But we are joined at the top of the show by Tiger Woods. No, it's Tom Amello. Tom, congratulations on the nice, as I said, I have not golfed in 4 or 5 years. So
welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
I would not be doing low 70s.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the OTB Golf Channel. No. I had a good round yesterday, and a friend of mine put it out on Facebook. I appreciate it. I'm an old guy. Seth, I've said for years, I am the uncrowned king of useless pursuits, parimutuel, profit, and par. Boy, I tell you. And when you get parimutually profitable, you crow. And when you make a few pars, you feel good. But then again, no one knows who will occupy this body when I play again on Monday, and we will try. But thank you very much. I appreciate Anthony's kudos. It's a tough game, and it's as tough a game as this.
Just before.
By the way, I'm going to say, Stephen Covey, the productivity maven, used to say that what you did on Monday is you went to sharpen the saw, right, to get away from this race. The only problem was you brought your PPs with you.
I tweeted out it's 7 days a week. I have to be handicapping it, but I had a picture of my feet and the PPs and
that's right.
The surf in
covered with a blanket so you didn't burn, but doing the PP work. Anyhow,
I have to slip from my teenage early 20 days as a lifeguard. I have to slop on the lotion now.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I had fun, certainly. And speaking of the weekend, going back, any thoughts on Scottish Lassie? George Abreu. Oh, and for people who watch Sunday, we had him scheduled on Sunday, and he was a no-show. And I'd say you never know with these trainers, particularly after a big win or whatnot. But he texted a little bit later and apologized profusely. Sunday is always funny with the trainers because they do turf works that start at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so I'm always, and the day before he said, no, I don't have any. And then it wound up, he had a couple that wound up going over for turf works. So it overlapped. But we'll get George Abreu on after the really nice win. Scottish Lassie, man, she was impressive. And Book of Dana was always fun.
Yeah. I was not smart enough. I tried to beat Bucamdano with Mulligan. I like Mulligan. He's a power sprinter, but it was not his day. And Scottish Lassie, it's going to lead us into our next discussion, why and when heavy favorites lose. This is the graveyard of champions, graveyard of favorites. Make your pick. And the question is, when and why do they lose? And we don't know. we don't know till afterwards, but you can have a conversation as to what you might predict about when favored. Scottish Lassie was as impressive as you could be, and immersive was done leaving the far turn. I mean, leaving the backstretch.
He started to spurt away. You could see immersive was not
that
good.
was, I use that analogy for how races are won, because if you and I were in a foot race, you're younger than I am and you're in a little better shape. And so if you and I were started in a foot race and we were running evenly, it would be only because you wanted to run evenly with me. And when you wanted to put me away, you'd probably spurt for a couple of blocks and I would need the oxygen tank. And that's what happens on a race course. Yeah. That's what they try to do. But just to talk about when favorites lose and what you have to think about. Years ago, I did some research on the charts. What did the chart callers say, or what did the comments say when a favorite loses? Well, I found these consistencies. Number one, it's the gate. Something happens in the gate. So one of the things that I always look at when I'm handicapping a race is the favorites in the 4, who's in the 3 and the 5. And if those are horses who have gait issues, well, there's a chance that the favorite could be compromised, okay? Because horses run into space. Horses run into open space. So the gait. The other thing that happens is we have no control over this. If you're riding a 1 to 9, you're the favorite. You want to do everything, regardless of the size of the field, to make sure you stay out of trouble. And sometimes you buy, or the better buys a wide trip. And the longer the race, the classic example is wide in the Kentucky Derby. If you're wide throughout in the Kentucky Derby, you run a mile and a half. Yeah. Okay. The other thing is scratches and the effect of scratches on the race dynamics and the pace. Now, class horses, and if you want to talk about the Jim Dandy, that's a race with one pace horse right now in Moplex, but class is supposed to laugh at pace and bias. And so the question of the tactics of this race is, what will Bill Mott have sovereignty do, knowing full well that Moplex has only one place to be in this race? So those are 3 considerations handicappers should think about and have when you're examining the favorite. Because
I'll go back to the Scottish Lassie race and say a scratch did play a big part of that.
Absolutely.
Lacara was speed, and so Scottish Lassie was not going to get that trip that she got without Lacara breathing right down her neck at the very least. So the scratch there definitely played into the pace scenario.
Raging, what's the dirt who lost the other day? Raging, it's not Raging Girl. It's the Mott horse. I can't get the last name. She was heavily favored and really had no shot because she dead last throughout and not going to catch that. And She Feels Pretty. Yeah. She Feels Pretty was one who just came up empty in a race that played out differently. So you can explain. It's easier to explain why a favorite loses than why a horse like Mo Trump wins.
Let's get into it. You always have some horses to watch, and we'll go back to the 16th, the 17th, 19th last week, and we'll start things out. Race number 5 back on the 16th. Spirit of New York wins, but you have some thoughts on number 2, Illmatic.
Yeah, Illmatic is races for our friends from Adelphi Racing, and she broke very sharp in this race. And with young horses, you don't know what the intent of the barn is, what the intent of the jockey is, or is the horse just doing what nature says it's supposed to do? Go fast. And this horse actually gets caught in a suicidal speed duel. And what's more interesting to me is that if you can see her here, she's trying to get out and bear out on the turn very greenly. And the jockey's trying to get control of the horse. She's going to get bumped right here. Nice hard bump in the hindquarters right there. And that's it. This horse is done running. Well, the question when she comes back, will they try to rate? Will they make a jockey change? How many works will this horse have? But this is not a bad debut from a horse who was 8-1, so it took some money and really raced greenly. Adelphi is a nice outfit. They buy nice horses. Their horses are well meant when they run. And so I'd look for Illmatic to come back, and we'll see what the situation is.
So that was Illmatic on the 16th. We have another one that was in race 5 on the 16th. Again, Illmatic to keep our eyes on. Race number 7 at the 16th. We have a replay there too. Tap into this is going to be the winner, but number 3 Mainstream gets to your thoughts on heavy favorite.
This was a short field, and Mainstream took. Whoop, this is the Illmatic race. The Mainstream race, she was a heavy favorite on 2 big buyer speed figures earned over a sloppy track. And so her 2 figures lorded over this field. Buyer calls that a double fig. Yeah, pair of 92s.
Near miss second place finish.
And she went out and dueled throughout and melted inside the far turn. And so it's a short field. You're looking at it. When you're looking at speed figures, especially when they're jumping off the page, the question is, well, how'd they earn the figure? And is it legit? And really, can you expect them to repeat anything near that figure, given today's a different circumstance? So I thought that was one way to illustrate, how to find a horse who might be vulnerable.
Yeah, off track situations. Those are always things to. Anthony Mormino always says doesn't buy into the numbers on sloppy tracks, and if other people are like that, Mainstream winds up running last. So.
Yeah, and then the question is, okay, will she need another a race and before she gets another good one, or if she's going to get the wet track, now you can go back to that 92.
We also have a race from the 17th. We're going to take a look at race number 6 on the 17th. Sacred Goddess will be the winner, but number 3 Ticket to Ride. You had some thoughts on this one. Winds up finishing 3rd in here, 13-1 Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, a Ticket to Ride is a Melanie Giddings horse. It was 13-1 in this field. Was really well meant. This is what everybody on the planet would call an international tough trip. I mean, if you read the chart, this horse gets a paragraph and a half in a 2-paragraph call of the chart. You can see she's in the red and white cap, or the red and blue cap, and she's racing in the clear right now. And as we get into the stretch, you're going to see, do I go inside? Do I go outside? Do I get here we go. Now I'm going to go. Here we go. I'm going to go outside. No. Oh, wait a minute. Now I'm going to get crowded. Now I'm going to get squeezed. Now there you go. Now I have no room. And this is an international trip. In other words, every handicapper is going to talk to you about this horse. And I'm going to say, maybe next time is not the time to bet this horse. I mean, if she still goes to post at a big number, given the context of the race, maybe you want to use her. But this horse ended up having no shot, and I think she was reasonably well meant because she ran on well.
Yeah.
So this is a nice horse for Melanie Giddings, who her horses run well at good odds.
And again, Ticket to Ride. Keep your eyes on that one at 13-1. Decent little 3rd place finish with, as you say, a trip worth noting. And finally, going back to the 19th, it'll be race number 7. Emphasis wins, and Stradale, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, number 3 horse is one to love.
Frank called him Stradale, the Italian horse. Anyhow, this is a heavy favorite who gets out poorly, but runs on beautifully. And I thought we should watch He's in the red and white stripes. You see him stumble there, blue helmet.
That was not a good start.
But what this horse has real ability, and our emphasis. This horse was so heavily bet, and emphasis was really at 5-1 a fair play. Nobody's going to bother emphasis, but here's Stradale inside right now. The jock is trying to get him into the race. Now he's settled and he's going to take the overland route. He's going to angle out here. And I think Frank thought he was going to inhale him. On the call, Frank sort of says, and Stradale is eating. Doesn't he look like a winner right here?
Yeah.
He changes leads right there. And now he looks like he's going to eat emphasis up. And right about here, he flattens. Now, that could be the track, you know.
You still think if you have, you still feel pretty good here. And then,
now he and the eight pushes through him. So, you know, I'm going to say certainly Stradale's effort was better than the 8. Again, another international trip, if you will. But this is a horse who I think is stakes bound.
Yeah.
You know, and the sprint may not be what this horse wants.
And now I know it's Stradale. I'll go. It must be a name for us. Now I got to look it up.
It's something interesting. You know, we have the Jim Dandy coming up. It's got 5 horses. We had the Haskell last week, and I think they had 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Okay. I counted them up. In the Derby, there were 20. In the Preakness, there were 9. In the Belmont up here, there were 8. 37 horses ran in that. Sovereignty's still running. Journalism, obviously. Baeza's coming back to run here. Gosker ran the other day. Sandman is prepped to run here, and goal-oriented. And so out of the original Derby, those are the horses who have still participated. And I think that's a fair number out of a 20-horse field. When you realize that, you know, maybe a third or a quarter of them really are non-contenders, never should have been there. So if you say 15, to have that many out of 15 running speaks well, and it goes into that whole controversy of, do we stay at it 5 weeks, or do we move on for the optics and the Peters and all the other non-traditionalists of the world?
Yeah, no, and journalism got it done the other day. Somebody said he gets it done. He makes it. He works for it, but he gets it done. And we'll keep our fingers crossed now that Sovereignty does well this coming Saturday, and we get a rematch coming up, and that would again play into that whole concept of, you know, they're knocking heads in the Triple Crown series, and then boom, they come up here in the Travers and hopefully knock heads again. I
think it's an interesting conundrum for Michael Murphy out in Mike McCarthy, excuse me, out in California, to trip back here. I think he's less likely to come here and more likely Pacific to the, and then meet him in the Classic.
Yeah, I think it's
disappointing if he takes that route, but smart.
Yeah, I think they have to match up at some point if he wants to get a shot at the Eclipse over Sovereignty, assuming Sovereignty continues on his path. And that's the only thing that has me thinking, man, maybe they come back for the Travers to meet up again. But as you say, they may wait to meet a little bit later.
I just hope whoever runs in the Curlin for Chad runs well. You know, the Curlin's a really good prep, and maybe someone else will come out of that race. I'd like to have more than the 5 we have in the Dandy. Disappointing.
Well, the Curlin plays into the short field in the Jim Dandy now, because you have the option of going in the Curlin too.
True.
Whereas, you know, you get to the Travers and you're going or you're not. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed, because I'm with you. All right, Tom, we're going to wrap it up now, but always appreciate the Wednesday visit, some horses to watch, some thoughts on what we've seen over the past couple of weeks, and we'll see you again next Wednesday.
Okay. Thank you, racing fans. Have a great day.
Shoot par. And below. All right, we'll come back. Tom Law will join us right after the break. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred Racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. Wednesday morning means a visit from the Saratoga Special, and in rotation today, our friend Tom Law. Tom, good morning.
Morning, Seth. Great to be here.
Great to have you here. Kind of kicking off the traditional season for the Saratoga Special. Well, your visit on the traditional season. We kicked it off last week. Joe was in here, and Joe knocked it out of the park. 1, 2, 3 in the jump triple. Bang.
Joe is on fire. Yeah. Joe had the try in the Beverly Steinem, which was the first day of the Belmont Festival. Cold try on the TV. If you had the show here, he would have had it on there, and then he had last week. We got to bring him to the handicapping page in the special.
At least throw him in the jump days.
Yeah, no doubt.
No question about it. And since we brought it up, just a reminder, the printing schedule is a couple days a week. But if you want to keep up with the handicappers, go to the website. This is horseracing.com. The handicappers are there all the time, and you're burning up the pages.
You know, it's a grind. You know, we're 9 days in.
Well, believe me,
I'm pretty happy with how things have gone so far. You know, we added the ROI tracker last year, which is a big risk because, you know, it's a 40-day meet with, you know, how many 400 races plus, and you could have some serious negatives, but plus $3.50 if you bet my $2 to win on my top picks so
far.
For
folks who aren't public handicappers, don't follow that. At $3 you're doing all right.
I'll take it. I was going into Sunday's card. I was like plus 18 or so. So I kind of had a crappy day on Sunday. I had just a couple winners. But you know, it's funny. I know my ROI total, but I don't remember my win total. Since I've sort of transitioned, but
I said when you sat down, we were talking about it. I said I keep my totals over on the Equidaily page. On the Equidaily, I do comments. If you go to the OTB page, you can always pull up the one sheet. Anthony's picks are there, Momino, my picks, Brian Nadeau's. So the one sheet's over on Capital OTB, but it's just the picks. Over on Equidaily, I actually do comments, and I keep every day. But the trip to Maine put me a little bit
well.
So I don't, off the top of my head, I don't have the updated numbers, but I've been. I started slow. The first 3 days I was kind of treading water, and since then I've been doing okay. So
our guys were in the same boat. They, you know, normally they come out fast, and I come out slow. This year, it's funny. This year they wanted to do handicapping picks on our website. This is horseracing.com for the July 4th festival. We didn't do the paper, but you know they were here. They were ready to go. They're like, "Can we do the?" I was like, you know what? I'm not sure I'm even going to go. I'm in town, but I'll probably go to the races a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they kind of hounded me a little bit more. And I said, all right, fine. I'll do it. Well, that sharpened me up a little bit. I'm not going to say I don't pay attention to the races the rest of the year because I do.
Yeah.
But I certainly don't handicap kind of full card,
Yeah.
like that. So just doing those 4 days, I kind of got my pencil a little sharper. So, maybe they're going to regret
Pencil,
that.
I like that.
If they want to do that again next year,
You got to be looking over your shoulder.
They gotta be careful.
Shapazian, right? Yeah.
Oh, always. Yeah, he's good. He's the king, right?
Yeah.
So he wins just about every
Jessica
year.
Paquette also
Yeah.
on the team. And yeah.
Rob Whitlock had Helena's Forte the other day.
Oh, that's a good
Honorable
call.
miss.
I said earlier, I wasn't red boarding, but I said if you looked up at the board and saw the price, you could have made a little bit of a case there.
24-1.
Yeah.
$50
And just remind people again, we've kind of alluded to it,
Sure.
but the printing schedule for the special.
So every Wednesday and every Saturday. So we just put the latest edition out last night. We actually finished kind of early last night.
I know you
Great.
look fresh.
I know.
Wednesday morning.
It's amazing. Yeah. So, we kind of restart after Wednesday comes. So we do Wednesday. We do every Saturday. Of course, Saturday has, recaps of all the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday races, previews of the weekend. We do handicapping for obviously Saturday's cards. So we'll have big Jim Dandy stuff. Usually the stable tours on Saturdays are, loaded with information. So far they've been great. First 5 we've done have been awesome. Features, starting to have a lot more features in there once we get closer to kind of the sales season. And then once the sales season starts, we do publish a Friday edition for the Hall of Fame. So that's a little more than a week away, which is crazy to think. And then we go right on through the end of the big Saratoga Selected Yearling, Paisley-Tipton Saratoga Selected Yearling sale. So we go Friday to Wednesday that week. So we're a true daily newspaper those 6 days.
And then you need a trip to the beach in Maine.
And then I'm going to Maine. Yeah, you're going to give me the recommendations on all the places.
Absolutely.
Lobster rolls.
Found a couple of new nice restaurants.
Airbnbs, rrestaurants.
Yep.
Go to Allagash Brewery, the Maine beer company.
I think it was called Bailey's Bait Shop. I think it was Bailey's.
Nice.
With my sister and brother-in-law. And my brother-in-law, we had to wait. My brother-in-law says, can we wait inside? She said, there is no one inside. It's kind of in a marshy little place. And there's this big, long dock with tables. There is no inside.
Man.
I said, well, what happens when it rains? She said, we close.
Yeah, I like that. Hey, right?
But it was great. The food was
Man.
great. Yeah.
Awesome.
You mentioned stable tours. I had Jeremiah in the other day. I had Jeremiah, Whit Beckman today.
Yeah.
Stable tours are always a lot
Todd
of fun.
Fletcher was opening day.
Yeah.
Traditionally, we sort of like started the tradition a few years ago, getting Todd to do the first one, and I usually go spend a day with him. I say a day. He's gracious enough to give us an hour, maybe 2 hours of his time. I do it on a dark day in the afternoon. It's great. I go to the barn with him, hang out. We go through all the horses. I mean, it was like 6,000 words. So it's on our website. You can go to the archives. This is Horse Racing. He's got a lot of horses that have won already or horses that he's run. Of course, Fierceness and Mind Frame, those types of horses are in there. Leslie's Rose is in there. That won the Chuvy.
Yeah.
And it was great. And Jeremiah, we kind of put in the second spot. I don't know why we started doing it, but the more and more I thought about it after I put it there, seeing the first few days of the meet and seeing how the first few days of the meet have gone for him the last few years, I'm like, I'm keeping him in that spot because he gets those 2-year-olds and they're ready to run.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were in there. And one of them he had to scratch. Party in the Navy or Party in the Army. So the horse had to scratch last weekend.
Yeah.
He was really high on that horse. So
Yeah, he
keep an
mentioned
eye
that
on
when
that
he came
horse.
in.
Yeah. He was disappointed they had to scratch.
Yeah,
But
I think I was like the day before that. And he was happy with being number 2 on the barn list.
Yes,
and,
he's always in there.
yeah.
And I keep him in there. Actually, it's funny. I end up doing that interview with him even before we've run the first issue. So it's kind of cool. Like, I'm like, well, I could slide you to number 1 maybe. And he's like, no. Todd should be number 1.
He thought that was the good spot.
He likes that sweet spot.
And it's a great the barn tour again, particularly at this point in the meet where folks are talking about maybe some unraced 2-year-olds or whatnot.
Yeah.
So check that out as well. And as you say, there's an archive of past issues online. You can check those out as well. This is horseracing.com. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Let's get some thoughts on, you guys, there's a lot of review and a lot of preview, just what we do here. So pulled up some replays and let's get some thoughts from last Saturday. First pulled up the replay of the Vanderbilt. Book'em Dano. Everybody says it. He's so cool. He's a New Jersey bred and gets it done here. Book'em Dano's number 5. Goes off as the 7-5 favorite. Close up second choice was Mulligan, who is absolutely legit. And they put it down here a little bit. And then Book'em Dano pulls away. The chart margin's 2.5, but man, he's fun.
44-3 to the half, really clicking along. Top class sprinters, these are Breeders' Cup sprint type horses. Book'em Dano, of course, he was, Forever Young was all out to beat him last year as a 3-year-old. And we all know what kind of horse Forever Young is. And that was at a mile, going longer. He's effective at a longer distance, 7/8, a mile. And he's shortening back up to, the Vanderbilt distance he was very effective in there, going to be dangerous in the 4-go. Again, of course, he's done great here at Saratoga. Derek Ryan, his trainer, was like, well, maybe I'll run him in a Jersey bred race down there. I'm like, those guys that own him at Atlantic 6 Racing, they're having a great time. They're having fun with him. They love coming up here. I mean, was he 2 for 3 now or 3 for 4 up here? He's got a great record here.
Yeah, 3 for 4.
3 for 4. So what amazing.
And overall 9 for 15.
Yeah, just a good horse,
Yeah.
Buchero.
Well,
Buchero, he's
Buchero,
a New York stallion. So soon to have New York breds. His the people behind him are bullish on his chances here in New York State. He's certainly helping his progeny earnings for sure. Book'em Dano just keeps showing up, and he's a gelding, so he's going to keep rolling. Yeah,
about $1.5 million in the bank. And as I understand it, these Atlantic 6 guys are kind of just regular guy, they kind of fell into a really, really nice New Jersey bred that can go out and face open company like that. Yeah. Also wanted to pull up the feature of the day, the Coaching Club American Oaks, and Immersive, understandably, now we have to wonder, has she come back, maybe not as good as she was last year as a 2-year-old, because now first 2 starts, she has not gotten it done. And this past weekend as the 3-5 favorite. But boy, George Abreu had Scottish Lassie ready, takes them all the way. Chart margin here is over 15 lengths. This was impressive.
Yeah, she threw it down here. And, Immersive, talking about her, I mean, I think they were obviously way more optimistic that she would run a lot better
absolutely.
In there than she did here. She had the prep, which was kind of a short field, kind of strange, tricky race, a little bit of traffic and stuff in there for her in here. Not really much excuse in this one as far as, traffic and getting boxed in or anything like that. Circumstances of the race maybe a little bit different with just kind of lone speed out there.
Yeah, with Lacara scratching, that was big.
Yeah, Lacara coming out. She was going to be the speed. Scottish Lassie's probably going to sit in that pocket trip, maybe press her a little bit. So maybe Immersive is not really in that pressing kind of role or up close kind of role. But, I would like to see her be a little closer at the end. I mean, with a champion 2-year-old filly, pretty still hung on to be second. I mean, and then you got to talk about the winner. I mean, hats off to her. Ran a very good race last time out in the Acorn. She's 3rd in the Acorn and was sitting on a big race. TT Abreu is, he's a longtime race tracker, former Chad Brown assistant, went on his own with just a couple of horses, including one from these owners, Parkland Thoroughbreds. These guys have been loyal to him. So give credit to those guys for,
there was a ton of people in the winner's circle.
Oh man, great fun. We saw him yesterday. Sean and I, we were riding around the golf cart yesterday. We saw him on the turn over by the Oklahoma. He's kind of stable over by Jeremiah. And, he was still on cloud 9. And this was Tuesday, he's still rolling. And I was so exhausted.
We were thinking maybe it was a late night because he was supposed to be in with me Sunday and he doesn't show and he didn't answer my text. But then later he profusely, I get some text. Oh, I'm really, I will explain it. It may have been a late night, but it wasn't. Like he had a couple of turf works that he wasn't anticipating. Turf works happened over there at 10 o'clock on Sunday. Yeah. So we didn't, but we'll get him in. But you could see in the winner's circle right after the race. He was understandably.
He said he went over to the Brook Tavern and Cherie DeVoe was there. Of course, they worked together, and he said he had one drink. And then when all the stress of the weekend, he was so excited. He said he got home and he just fell flat asleep. Like he was just out cold. That's what he told us. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, looking forward to getting him in. We will definitely get him in to talk about that. You have to. That was a great performance. And finally, I didn't pull up a replay, but I saw you did the recap in today's paper. Futures Now got it done, which I was happy with. I like Futures Now in there. That was in the Caress. It was the Mike Trombetta. I tried to get Mike in And he said he was headed out
That's
the next
right,
morning.
yeah.
But Future has now looked pretty good in the Caress. But maybe also notable, Paco Lopez. You know, they have the big day down in New Jersey, but Paco comes up and gets a couple of stakes wins up here. So it was a big day for Paco as well.
Yeah, Bookham Dano and Future is now. So, you know, the jockeys, they'll stick with those good mounts versus maybe going, you know, a couple $100,000 stakes or some big allowance races down there. Smart move by Paco and his agent to follow those horses. Of course, he does so well with Future is now. I mean, she's so fast and she kind of gets out there cruising, and a great, like I wrote about in the paper, I wish I could have really done it more justice. Great tribute to her breeder, Larry Johnson, who passed away earlier this
Mike
year.
got a little emotional in the winter circle afterwards.
Yeah, I kind of got him going on it. I felt bad. I was like, I asked him a couple questions. You know, I know Mike from Fairhill and, you know, all of us Mid-Atlantic. I do a lot of Mid-Atlantic work and gotten to know him over the years. I feel like I really got to know him in 2020, the COVID year, when, you know, it was just a few of us here, you know, so we kind of spent a lot of time with people, and, you know, I really like him. He does a wonderful job with his horses. Cares about his horses. And the one thing about Mike Trombetta is his clients that he has them for like a long time. Like he started training for Live Oak a long time ago, still has them. Trained for Larry Johnson, had him until he died. You know, he had the Meyerhoffs for like a long, long time until they passed on. I mean, he does a great job with his horses and his owners.
The woman in the winner's circle was a relative of Larry?
Yeah, Larry's daughter, Kelly Caraballo is her name. And she and her sister, the two daughters, Larry's two daughters, they're going to continue on what they're doing. You know, they bought a share in Mindframe. For him going to stud. So of course Larry Johnson bred him.
Nice. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and they, you know, obviously they're on cloud nine with how he did. Yeah. They're starting to realize how difficult it is and how much time their father put into it. I mean, I think they knew, but now they're finding out firsthand. She even said to me, she said, we used to just, you know, Dad would tell us when we were running, and we'd show up and put on some clothes, and we'd go to the winner's circle and smile and be like, "Thanks, Dad," and then they'd go home. Now they're like, "Holy cow! Like, there's a lot to this, you know." So, you know, Futures now is just great. Like, and Mindframe, they're both like fourth generation Larry Johnson bred horses. They both trace back to the same fourth dam. It was incredible, like, to look up their pedigrees and to be like, wait, they have the same third dam too. So like their great grandmothers are the same. So it was like incredible. So
that's fun. It was, and again, it was a nice win the other day, but when you can tie in those stories as well, and that's something you guys do great, very well with the Saratoga Special, and you try to find the kind of the unique side of some of the stories, not just necessarily the recap.
Well, it's the one benefit of the not being a sort of a true daily and not, you know, being like an internet news service. We're able to let those stories simmer for a little while and kind of like dig into them. I'm not saying I wouldn't have had a lot of that information if we had to turn that story around the next day. And we do have to turn the stories around the next day, like Friday's races we'll have in Saturday's paper. But, you know, having a day to kind of like think about it a little bit and kind of like do a little bit more in depth versus just kind of the horse's trip. And, you know, there was an inquiry in the race, and I hardly even wrote about that. So like, I think if you were doing a web story,
I don't think it was worth writing about.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I never could quite figure out where it came from. But, you know, not to knock that stuff, but it's just a different animal. You know, it's a little bit more of a maybe magazine style.
And I'll tell you, being a little bit separated from the print side of things, I'm down in the winner's circle a lot, but I'm just kind of listening in. So the next morning I'm here. If there's something I can toss it out there, but I get to see what all you guys do. The other print guys.
Concept is what you're doing.
But the other print guys, as you say, they're writing for the next morning. So they get the quotes, and then they're running upstairs so they can get it. Get it up. Whereas I see you and Sean and Joe, you're kind of walking out of the winner's circle with the owner or the trainer or the breeder.
Who was that guy you were talking to? You know, and I'm like, oh, that was, you know, He owns 10% of the horse. He's a bartender at, like, Sean talked to a guy from Nantucket. He was a bartender at Nantucket that got partners on a horse with Jay Hanley that won last week. And was like, who was that guy you were talking to? He's like, he works at the Chicken Box in Nantucket. And I'm like, what's the Chicken Box? So we Googled it, looked it up. I was like, that looks like our kind of place. He might have been places you were hanging out with in Maine.
Exactly.
Same description almost.
That's funny. Very good. But again, you can find out that's what makes the special. Not the
25 years.
Words. 25 year. when I read that earlier, you guys were kind of leading into the meeting, like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, I said to, I guess it was Joe last week, or maybe Sean, July 4th. One of you guys, I was saying, I remember all your spots. I remember when you were down over where Impressions is now, downtown, and you had a little house out here for a while. And now, I'm sure,
building on Broadway.
I'm sure for you guys, this is because you can just leave the track. You're like a block away.
Yeah, we got our own press box. I always say to people, I get the air conditioning works good. Fridge. We got, a clothes room that it's got full of sport coats and suits and shirts.
I didn't realize that. That's a good idea.
That little back room there. In fact, I just hung some stuff in there now for the races later when Awakened runs with Smithwick. And I mean, I don't know how far it is. It's probably a quarter mile. Yeah. And we're in the paddock. Not even. It's close. Right in front, right next to Fasig-Tipton. So we used to we were on Spring Street, right by the Spring Street Deli for a while. And we thought that was a great location.
The downtown one I remember, though, because I remember Travis Stone was doing a podcast at the time, and they weren't even called podcasts.
Internet radio.
Yes, yeah. And he was doing it from a closet in your office, and I remember because I was a guest at one point.
I love it.
Yeah, crazy.
That came before me. Those guys, like a lot of those famous alumni. So I started in 2013 was my first summer. So we've had a lot of great alumni since then. But like the Travises and Gabby worked with me. But some of those other guys, Quint Kesenick and those guys, sort of the Mount Rushmore interns of the early days. But I've heard all the stories, So and talked to them a lot.
It's been a fun 25 years, no doubt about it.
No doubt.
All right, before we let you go, just wanted to you got to live up to Joe now. Wanted to take a look at the Smithwick because you do have the house horse in here. You have Awakened for Sean. I mentioned on the handicapping show earlier. I put Awakened on top. It's Sean is Riverdee Stable and Marshall Graham with 10 Strike. And a couple of years ago, gets Sean Clancy a grade 1 in the Shepherd. Comes in off the third in the Steinman this year. The winner in the Steinman is also in here, Proven Innocent. I thought Jimmy P, last year's winner of the Shepherd, was very interesting. Here we are looking at
this is Jimmy P. I think this is maybe him winning the Shepherd.
Actually, this is the Shepherd 2 years ago, and we're going to watch Awaken get it done.
Gets it done here.
Jimmy P ran second 2 years ago, so it's Awakened over Jimmy P 2 years ago on the Shepherd. What are your thoughts?
Boy, we had a ripper of a day after that, and that was a lot of fun. And
I can imagine.
He kind of didn't win again for a little while after that. It still hasn't won again since then, but his last race was very good.
Yeah, I thought so.
He was giving 8 pounds to the winner, so they're on level weights this time. Proven Innocent, who's a very, very good horse. Jack Fisher trains him as well. Graham Waters kind of made the comment in the paper today. Joe talked to him. He basically said Proven Innocent and Awakened are really kind of the same horse. One's gray, obviously one's chestnut. You wouldn't even know the difference if there weren't for the colors. Watching them train yesterday, both looked fantastic. I do like Awakened in here. I picked him on top as well. He's a racetrack horse. Came from the racetrack.
Yeah, we mentioned that the other day. We carried Brian in. That's
same
important.
boat. Yeah, I think very important. Versus some of these horses, they'll handle the heavier courses or the different undulating ground that they might face at a national hunt meet versus here at the track, just on the inner course. And Awaken, he's proven that he can run here and he does well here. Sitting on a big race, I think. He had the prep. He had another training flat race. That was a pretty good race. This is his third race on that progression. But I think Proven Innocent, probably the horse to beat, along with Jimmy P, who's capable. If he runs back to anything close to those big races that he's run before, he could be very dangerous. And I think Who's Counting on the inside as well. Sean McDermott trains and he's going to ride him. He's capable of some good races. You got to go a little bit far back in his form to find him, but he comes off of a flat race that really wasn't that bad. And he's coming out of, some grade 1 races as well, running against Snap Decision, Cool Jet, Aban, horses like that. Horses that we won't see at Saratoga, unfortunately. Aban, they're going to keep him away from the racetrack. He does better away from the racetrack. And Snap Decision's 11, so we can't run past 9 here at Naira. But Snap Decision's the best steeplechaser in America. So he's a pretty good horse. Maybe might be a good price. So check the board,
I like that. You mentioned the flat waist for Awakened. That's that 19th of April showing up in the workout line. Yeah. And so people should be aware of that. Right. I was tweeting back and forth with Leslie Knopf about the old weight trials, and I said,
yeah.
I think you had to be kind of clued in because those would show up. I think in the workout
That's
line.
right.
Yeah.
And I don't always show up the workouts. I don't always show up sometimes on the PPs, like Equibase or the GRF ones, but they often do. Yeah. Same with the trial races. I remember those Aiken trials, of course. Yeah. The ones we used to have here.
And I said back in the day, the 2-year-olds would have to have a little trial race down at fairgrounds. That was a regular thing down there for a while. Not anymore, but for a while. Tom, as always, appreciate the visit. Again, pick up the special here at the racetrack. You can pick up it around town or check it out. This is horseracing.com. Appreciate it. Good luck this afternoon.
Absolutely.
I'm coming after you on the handicap.
All right, good. Let's go. Thanks for having me.
All right, we will take a break. When we come back, Laura Simele, we'll talk a little breakfast on the front side. Eddie C. is in the house as well. We'll get some handicapping thoughts from Eddie. All of that when Racing Across America continues. Stay tuned. It's been referred to as possibly the best equine-themed gift shop on the planet. Impressions of Saratoga. Impressions of Saratoga, celebrating the Saratoga and equestrian lifestyles. It's your #1 choice for Saratoga souvenirs, apparel, and gift shopping. We have gifts for the entire family, and we're pet-friendly too. Visit us online at impressionssaratoga.com or come on down. Impressions of Saratoga, 368 Broadway, downtown Saratoga.
Why just watch the races when you can be in the middle of the action? For nearly 20 years, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program has made thoroughbred ownership affordable for the everyday fan. Ownerships of 5 and 10% are now available on a nice selection of horses. As a partial owner with Bonaventure Stables, you'll enjoy all the benefits afforded every owner. Visit with your horse in the private stable area. Greet the trainers and jockeys in the paddock. And when your horse wins, savor the moment in the winner's circle at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, or wherever you bring home the prize. Based in historic Saratoga Springs, Bonaventure Stables has been training winners and creating memories since 2005. Learn more, see available horses, and meet our team at bonaventurestables.com.
Welcome back, and as promised before the break, we're joined now by our friend Laura Simele. Breakfast chatter, breakfast narration,
breakfast jibber jabber.
Information and entertainment over on the breakfast side. Laura, good morning.
Good morning, Seth. Thank you. It's always great to be back here. Talk a little bit about the different fan experiences and newcomer experiences here at Saratoga. So, as you started with, I have to tell you, my biggest brag this morning is my co-host came back to visit me.
Oh,
Alana.
Nice.
Alana and her family came back. If anyone was watching last year, Seth had some great footage of her handling the microphone and giving me a slight coffee break. So that's part of it, right? When I was a little girl, Mary Ryan hosted this morning workout show. And now I've kind of been blessed to carry on that tradition and engage a new set of fans and our lifelong fans and educate them about the training here at Saratoga, talk them through what's going on, have some special guests that join as well, different trainers, jockeys, racing group owners and whatnot. And we just go through anything and everything that's happening. Rick Schosberg, who's the president of Take Two, Take the Lead here in New York, joins me about once a week. We talk about after racing opportunities as well.
Had Rick here the other day.
Yeah.
He's always fun.
It was leading into aftercare day, probably. So we got to see some of that live and in action. And yeah, we get to celebrate these amazing athletes that we get the pleasure of watching.
Get Doc Messina, and he could talk a little aftercare too. We had him the other day.
Oh, he's on my list. So I have to tell you the best story, actually. So a couple days ago, I was commentating and hosting, and this wonderful group of women walked up to me up in the box area. So for those of you that attend breakfast, I'm either up in the box area or floating through the porch. And it's all free form. Whoever wants to talk, you're always more than welcome to join, share your story, share why you love racing or what brought you here the first time. And this was a great group, 4 women, 2 who had been here as lifers, 2 that it was their first time here at Saratoga. And I'll wrap it right back to Doc Messina. The one woman says, well, I actually own an off-track thoroughbred. And so I said, well, who? She said, Sanctuary City.
Oh,
And
that's
so
wild. The
was,
folks who were watching that was this big horse. Oh.
Yeah, so totally kismet moment there. And we brought it full circle. I texted Doc Messina. I said, I have a surprise for you. I met the woman who has Sanctuary City. We actually got everyone together. They met Doc. They had a wonderful time talking, going from baby pictures all the way up to after racing photos. We got some photos after the ladies went home, and him getting carrots and sending some new retirement photos to Doc. So you never really know who you're going to run into.
That's great.
Yeah, that's just one of the different experiences that people can take part in. So you can come in, grab breakfast downstairs.
Yeah, I pulled up the video, and I had the video from last year because I hadn't gotten a chance to get over there during breakfast this year. But yeah, take us through a typical morning. Yes. And folks can come. You can either grab breakfast, but you can also just come and sit and enjoy the atmosphere as well.
And that's great too, because training obviously is sometimes longer than it takes people to eat breakfast, even though there is an all-you-can-eat buffet downstairs. So you can mosey around, enjoy the morning. You'll see some great kiddos hanging out here right up to that fence on the rail. So we talk about, again, the traffic patterns, whose horses are out there. There's Alana co-hosting with me. We let you know about the backstretch tours that are available that you can take part in. So starting at 7:30, running to 9, there's a tram that will actually pick you up at the clubhouse gate, take you right on over to where we are with Seth right now. And you can do a 30 to 45-minute walking tour back here and go through the different kind of checkpoints of a day in the life of our thoroughbred athletes and learn about the men and women that care for them, go through a little historical context with Claire Court behind us. And my favorite part is learning about gate school, because I think it's always fun to know what our horses have to pass before they get to race in the afternoon. And a couple of years ago, Naira started these incredible breakfast and breeding tours. So those include your ticket to the buffet breakfast. You can also, if you want to go full out, you can hop on one of those backstretch tours while you're here as well. And then you head out to one of 3 amazing farms here in Saratoga County, either Songhill Thoroughbreds, Old Tavern Farm, or Sugar Plum Farm. And it really brings everything very full circle, right? It's our whole life cycle of our equine athletes. On the farms, you get to see the mares and foals. So there's mamas and babies, if you're not familiar with those terms. And then some of those farms even have retirees that have gone on to new careers at their homes now. And that's all, the whole way around just the pieces that we usually watch here in the afternoon. So it's really cool.
And I know those have become popular. It was a couple of years ago. I think the first year I had Jim and Tina Bond at the end of the season. They said the people come and wow, they have a great time and they've become popular. Now, do you have to reserve the tour?
You do. So you hop onto Naira.com. There's the different dates and availability on the tours there. Definitely book in advance. They do fill up. There's only 52 seats per tour group for those. But again, phenomenal morning. You come, you can enjoy breakfast, hop on the backstretch, hop on the CDTA tram out to the farms. Everything is kind of just taken care of for you. You just kind of shuttle around and then you're back in time for post time. So really what gets better than that, right?
No, nothing gets better than that. That's a great morning. And that's why we have you on, because it's early now. There is a lot of morning still left to go. And is breakfast every day, and when are you over there?
So breakfast is Wednesday through Sunday.
Okay.
My voice is there on Wednesday and Thursday. I am not, hence part of why I'm here with you today. So I am physically there Friday through Sunday, other than Travers Day, with the different training hours and those earlier post times. And again, everyone is welcome. If you're a racing group, if you're a breeder, if you're a brand new fan, if you are those expert children that have those handicapping nuances that we need, please come tell us your favorite colors. And that's a huge part. And I pointed out Alana, her and her sister signed up for the STAR program, which we haven't talked about yet this morning. Naira starting that last year, students of thoroughbreds and racing. So while we look at this full cycle story of our equine athletes, there's also a full cycle story of our equine fans, right? So the STAR program encouraging our younger kids to have their parents hop online, go to naira.com/star, register them, and then they get all these incredible experiences going into the paddock.
Yeah, I saw
for
a whole
saddling.
group the other day going out to the paddock.
Yep, they do that. They've added some new things with a backstretch component this year, watching a race from the winner's circle, getting
nice.
to meet the jockeys, owners, and trainers, and really, celebrating a lot of the traditions that have been here for a long time in Saratoga.
Developing the new fans. You got to love that.
Fans. You have to.
Yeah.
Who knows? We may have the next. I had a young lady last year tell me she was the next Jenna Antonucci.
Oh.
And we have a lot of, young owners. I'm going to tell you right now, all parents, be prepared. Your children will say, when are we buying a horse? Be ready for it.
So breakfast is Wednesday through Sunday. What are the hours?
Yes. So breakfast opens at 7. Then they kind of wrap everything up. I'm going to say close to 10 because we have to vacate the track at 10 to open up the gates. The tram tours for the backstretch start at 7:30, and then if you're on those breakfast and breeding tours, those trams do not depart until 9:45. You get lined up at 9:30, and then when you hop on, there's a few other experiences. If you go to naira.com, you can do some private golf cart tours. You can do some different paddock experiences. There's just a plethora of ways to enjoy everything that's here and learn more about what it takes to put on this show that we enjoy and all of the athletes that participate in it.
I mean, I can't think of anything better on a morning. It's a gorgeous morning.
Gorgeous
Come
today.
over that tram tour. You come back and they show the starting gate. And you get to see the backstretch, which is a whole different world back here that normally you wouldn't get a chance to see. That's recommended. You get a great buffet breakfast as well.
Yeah.
So you can sit back and watch the horses work out. Come take the backstretch tour. Breeding farm tours are what, Friday?
They're Thursday through Sunday. So Thursdays you head out to Song Hill Thoroughbreds with the Bonds. Fridays Old Tavern Farm with the Briznocks, and then Saturdays and Sundays out to Sugar Plum Farm with the Malatinos. And they're wonderful. All 3 farms are phenomenal. All 3 families and groups heavily involved in the sport, breeding, racing. Robin owns, the Sire on Fire War Dancer here. So you're not just seeing this full picture. You have people that are super ingrained in this. This is, they love it. It's their livelihood. It's their passion. And like I said, all 3 amazing farms. It doesn't hurt to do this more than once and go see different farms because you're going to see different things and different horses at each one. So it's really a great opportunity.
We talked about the passion. How did you get your passion and become a racing
enthusiast
fan and enthusiast? I see you and your mom all the time.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I was born into this. I'm a born and raised New York bred filly. My grandfather actually was, he was a steel mill worker who had a 6th grade education and absolutely loved horses. And he brought my mom to the track, and he made friends with everyone from the stall mucker to the CEO. And if I had known I got my networking skills from him, I would have thanked him before I lost him. And so he, shimmied his way around. And my mom actually had an opportunity when she was a little girl to not just climb the trees and watch Kelso be saddled, but actually go up to the booth and learn how to call from Fred Capicella back in the day. And then she hot walked for Mr. Nehrude, who became a lifelong mentor for those of you who know John Nehrude, trainer of Dr. Fager.
Legend.
Absolute legend. And 11-year-old Laura walked up to that man with a Winnie the Pooh notebook and said, "Mr. Nehrude, I built a racehorse because I did all my Roman dosage in number 2 pencil at 11 and built what was the first horse I ever planned and delivered when I was 13. He was a hard knocker, and he went 9 for 12 and was great. And I've been hooked ever since. I gave these backstretch tours here 24 years ago. I started as the summer girl for the New York Thoroughbred Breeders and our Horsemen's Association. And without horses, I wouldn't be here.
Crazy.
So,
I've known you a while, and I can validate for the passion. See you over
Thank
there.
you.
And you've been involved in that STAR program as well. That's a lot of fun. That was a nice addition over here on, as I say, helping to develop new fans and whatnot. And as I say, before I let you go, I see you and your mom a lot. And I will tip my cap to you as I do to everybody who gives me a ride.
Anytime.
So the other day, you guys gave me a ride. over at some of those hot days. I've been very appreciative.
Yes.
The night the folks gave me a ride back, the night the gals were over for aftercare day, and on the way back, so I always appreciate. Rob Falcone gave me a ride, so I always like to tip the cap to the folks who give me a ride. But the other day when you gave me a ride, I mentioned, because I'd been sitting back here a little bit watching the races, and the first race, the aforementioned Jenna Antonucci goes in to the winner's circle. And I fully appreciate people being dressed up, being in the winner's circle. Why not? But she was wearing like a ball gown that went down to the floor and had a headpiece on. And I mentioned, wow, that she was really dressed up. And you guys explained it to me.
Yes. So we participated in a fashion show this past Saturday. So it's a fundraiser for the National Racing Museum and Hall of Fame, just right across the street. So Miss Scarlet and Gilded Boutiques, owned by Jennifer Marsalis, sporting one of the tops this morning. I kind of had a feeling you might bring this up, so I wanted to be able to give them a little shout out.
Excellent horse theme.
Thank you. Lots of things there in both of the boutiques. So the fundraiser, we do this walk, we do the runway. We actually walk out of the starting gate in the museum. If you haven't been, check it out.
I like that.
It's a great time. But yes, it actually worked out super well. You know, Jenna hopped in, I call the golf cart the beep beep, hopped in the beep beep, made it over. The horse won. There was a changing room full of women screaming back at the museum as we were cheering that horse home for her and then cheering her on when she came back in afterwards. So
I thought that was great, though, because clearly she had committed to the fashion show before knowing she would have a horse in the first race.
We can only do so much when entries are, we've gotten better, right? We're 6 days out now. We super appreciate that. All of the horsemen, most importantly, our athletes, the owners, everyone connected. That's a ripple effect. But yeah, you never know. And when these dates are set months in advance, you're like, absolutely, I'm going to be there. And then it's like, oh, by the way, I'm in the first race. And it's an early post time because it's Saturday.
So she commits and
absolutely
right off the runway, into the cart, into the winner's circle.
Yeah, she's a rock star.
That was, again, it helped explain, because like I said, I thought she looks great, but it just seems a touch overdressed for the winner's circle.
Hey, she got her picture taken. It was great. It was wonderful.
Laura, as always, appreciate the visit. I'll see you over on the front side, and I hope everybody gets to check you out during the season for a little breakfast, the breeding farm tours, the backstretch tram. Again, highly recommended. A fun addition to a day at the track. So keep it in mind for the rest of the meet. We appreciate the visit.
Thanks, Seth. Always a pleasure.
All right, we'll take a break. And when we come back, we have a couple of minutes with Eddie C. Notebook picks by Eddie C. You find him on Twitter. He's making some picks online this season. Well, maybe we'll get a couple of ideas for this afternoon. All of that when we come back. Stay tuned. Right now by Eddie Cofino. Am I pronouncing it right? Cofino?
Yeah, Cofino.
Cofino. Oh, that's
There's
a
a
little
tilde
accent.
over the end, yeah.
Cofino. I like that. You know him as Notebook Picks by Eddie C on Twitter, and I'm sure a lot of people follow you. Thanks for stopping by.
Well, I appreciate you having me, Seth. And at least we've gotten a couple of great days of weather, and we're going to get a little bit hot the next couple of days. But Saratoga is my heaven. So,
well, you got to be used to hot weather though, because normally you're a Florida guy, right?
Yeah, I'm in Miami, so yeah.
There you go. But up here, typically during the racing season, I have a place up here that I understand getting some renovations are being rebuilt. But we wish you the best luck there. Why don't we start by talking a little bit about, we'll take a look at a couple of races and get some ideas for this afternoon, but why don't we start by just give us a little idea. I know you're doing some picks and whatnot online. Fill us in on that side of things.
So, over the years, for the past 6, 7, 8 years or so, I've written my notebook picks, and I've only picked 2 horses per race. And, just posted them on Twitter for free, didn't charge anything or what have you. And I've had great success. Fortunately for me, I haven't had a losing meet yet doing so. So that's always great. But in doing so, I developed a really good friendship with a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Stetton, who runs Past the Wire. So, we've partnered up with not just notebook picks, but, one of the things that Jonathan's doing is first off, we have our own YouTube channel. So we do a lot of media work. We've covered the Belmont the last 2 years, and we do a lot of interviews and videos regarding Saratoga, Belmont, big race days. We also have a big presence at Breeders' Cup and the Kentucky Derby and what have you. But one of the things Jonathan also does is he does once a week, he does his Thoroughgraph show, where he gives out a free pick, and he shows the numbers and sheets for the races, and he's 3 for 3 so far this year, so definitely something to take a look at. And he also he has his own tracking trips that he does on a regular basis. But my partnership with John with Notebook Picks has gone really well. And as a matter of fact, today we're doing a free roll. We're not charging for the picks today. We're just going to go ahead and post them out so everybody kind of jump on board, and hopefully we can have a good day today.
All right, test that out. What's the web address?
It's pastthewire.com.
And that's where they'll find the pick?
Yeah, you just go to pastthewire.com, and you'll see Notebook Picks by Eddie C, and it'll be up there.
All right, well, let's give them a little preview and take a look at a couple races for this afternoon. First up, race number 7 today. We're looking at starter allowance types going 7 furlongs. I thought Despo's Dream was a little bit interesting from the outside. I thought Daisy Duke was maybe a little bit of a player with Irod on board for Ron Maquette. Pam has a little bit of a layoff to overcome, but I was 7, 4, 6, and 3. What did you see in the 7th?
Well, we're pretty much exactly the same, because my top pick is Despo's Dream.
Oh, okay, very good.
I like Flavian staying on this horse, and Daisy Duke is definitely, you got to use that horse as well. And then the other horse that kind of interests me a little bit is, what's Rosario going to do on Vieira? I don't know if he's going to go. Sorry about that. I don't know if he's going to go to the front like he did last race. So I went 7, 4, 3 as well there, but I do like Despo's Dream. I'm giving with Flavian up. I think you got to give him a shot.
All right. So a little meeting of the minds there. Now I'm going to be interested to see if we have a meeting of the minds in the 8th, because on the handicappers report earlier, 3 of us all wound up on my dark horse play today. Number 3, Princess Madison. I'm 3, the 2 entry, 7 in the 1 entry. But I think Princess Madison for Phil Bauer is very intriguing.
What does this say, Seth, on top?
and I said earlier when this the handicapping show, I said one of the things I like is the 6-to-1 price. Now I'm curious what we're going to get, but give us your thoughts in race 8.
I mean, this is a fairly classy horse. If you look back in August of last year in the Charlestown Oaks, he ran 3rd, and he ran 3rd to Mystic Lake and My Main Squeeze, 2 really decent, or really good horses. And I think maybe he needed the last race. It was his first race after 7 months off. So hopefully maybe that just got him fit. Nice jockey change. Junior jumps on board to ride him. And I think the pace sets up for him because there's a little bit of speed in here, and I think he can just sit right off the speed and get first jump on the closers.
I kind of like that there's a wild meeting of the minds. It bolsters my confidence. But as I say, now what are we going to get odds on? Now I'm curious. You mentioned Junior hopping on board with a limited sample. Teams up very well with Phil Bauer. That added to my attraction as well. I think the 8's going to be fun. Now I'm looking forward to seeing how she does, but also, as I say, the odds in that race that we're all landing on the same spot.
Yeah, the entry, the 2-horse. I mean, that they're going to be very formidable in this race, but they're going to be even money or less probably in it. So that's why the other reason the price, and just so. The other part that attracted me is my daughter's middle name's Madison, so and she is a princess. So
tomorrow I have Mia Sophia that I got to land on with a great niece and now a great niece, being Mia and Sophia. So there's you got to play the hunch bets.
Of course, you have to.
Ed, appreciate the visit. Ed Cafino again. You can check out his picks online. You can follow him on Twitter as well. Notebook Picks by Eddie C. Thanks for stopping by. Keep it going on the meet.
Appreciate it, Seth. Great seeing you again.
You too. All right, we'll wrap it up on this Wednesday morning. Great day. So enjoy don't forget the microphone. The guests always tend to take the microphone home with them. The great morning here will become a great afternoon as well. So if you're coming up, you're going to have a great day. Otherwise, you can enjoy playing at home or stop by the Clubhouse Racebook and have a great day there. But we'll be back in tomorrow morning. Handicappers report at 9 a.m. Racing Across America at 10 a.m. We'll see you there. Haven't signed up for a Capital OTB account yet? Now's the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account with $200 or more, bet $400 by the end of the month, and receive a bonus $200 into your account. Plus, you can take advantage of everything an OTB account has to offer. Wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, past performances, online promotions, and more. Sign up today and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
You've been watching Racing Across America. Racing Across America has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.